Builders, welcome back to the channel where we build financial power. Myself, Matt, and
Potter.
we're fired up to have you. We have our first interview today with Humble Ape. Dude, I'm happy to have you on. I'm excited for us to get talking. We actually had to shut ourselves up before we even started. So I appreciate you coming on, seriously.
Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for having me. It's great to be here. We spent 5 minutes in the pre-show and I was so excited to talk,
Yeah, you guys missed it. I had to keep telling them, stop. This is like great stuff for the show. So the reason that we have a Humble Ape with us, thank you, like Matt said, for joining us, is because he and I were both part of the drip fam that is in the upper percentile of having that much drip that we were both able to leave our jobs. So
exactly.
You guys are going to find out more about me as time goes on, but I thought that Humble Ape's story was like so cool, and that you would just share it, how you got in, first of all, but let people know who you are first, and then we'll get to the questions.
So first of all, Humble Ape is my kind of online presence. My name is Steven. There's no attempt to hide my identity. I just wanted to be a certain kind of just online presence, like I said. So that's Humble Ape just started because of another Discord that I had joined. His name is Taiki Maeda. He started the Humble Farmer Army, and I found his channel sometime last year when Polygon had started getting big, and I just liked the way he researched. I liked the output that he provided. So I joined his private Discord called the Humble Farmer Army. Humble Ape just kind of grew from that. So that's the story of Humble Ape. As for me, oh man, my life has just had all kinds of twists and turns, and this
what
is
part
probably
brought you to drip? That's the part.
So drip, I guess I can start from around the start of the pandemic, right? So I got a job. I started a little bit earlier than that. About 2 years before the pandemic, I joined a coding boot camp. It's called Operation Spark in New Orleans. And I learned to be a web developer, 10 hours a day for 6 months. Oh yeah, it was a very intense program. We learned JavaScript, and the hour equivalent was basically a master's degree. It was like 6,000 hours in 6 months.
What?
Wow.
Yeah, very intense program.
Wow.
I don't know how I made it. And then I hated web development. Like, it was just not fun, but I knew that this was a job that could kind of be a means to an end, or just a different avenue. So I went through it, got a job at a bank, and I was doing what was called RPA, which is robotic process automation.
Yep, I know about
Sounds fancier than it really is. I'm basically automating front end copy and paste.
But there's processes. Thousands of them.
Yes, and at a bank that was an older bank that wasn't quite up to date with their software and everything. So the RPA job was basically research and development for this bank. We were just testing the waters for RPA. So I had proven out that it was a good investment for the bank, because in the first year that I was hired and the projects that we were given, we saved about 5 FTEs.
Okay.
So that's
like get you to drip. Like,
what is that? 5 FTEs?
Full-time employees. They did not have to hire full-time employees. No, I'm just kind of talking about myself right now.
Yeah.
So when the pandemic happened, we worked from home, and because it was R&D, I had no projects. I had nothing to work on. So I had all this free time to learn crypto. And I started my crypto journey early April 2021. Drip released April 22nd, 2021.
Wow.
So in that time, in that short month, I dove headfirst. Like I tried to get into these applications and I didn't even have MetaMask installed. Like I had no idea what I was doing. I was like, how the hell do I even connect to this? Why can't I do anything?
Matt?
So
get it, bro. Get
yeah.
it. Go ahead.
I relate.
The learning curve is so steep. The barrier to entry is just ridiculous.
Yes.
But I had this free time. I had this willing, like I saw other people making their lives change. I'm like, I want that.
Okay.
So, I started exploring communities. Stunner Breezy's was my first community actually. And I saw
that's a good one to be your first.
Yeah, I saw the first build episode, and you were talking about him, Potter, and like you love how in his face he is, in your face he is.
Yeah.
And he's just real, right?
Yeah.
And then just talking with people in that community, I found Bartertown, and around that time, I had entered Bartertown was just after the pre-sale ended for Drip. So I missed out on Drip's pre-sale, but I aped in day one, still not knowing what the hell was going on.
Wow, so you were there day one.
I was there day one. It cost 10 Drip to get in. So I don't know, $200, something like that for me. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, so one of the reasons that your intro story is so interesting is because it's almost like mine. Like here we are, two people. I started March 1st, right, of 2021. And it was just like you said, I made the time. And it's funny that you say that you went through a course for 6,000 hours with JavaScript, because for crypto, I would say I put in over 5,000 plus hours. You're with me.
Oh yeah. Like this has been my job because like my W-2 job is basically my side hustle. I paid no attention to that. Like we had a remote desktop. I would forget to log in. It would lock up all the time because, if you don't have any activity, the desktop locks up, and that's how they track your performance, whatever. But I would just tell them that I'm just like doing maintenance and all that. And but just having all that time and the will to, oh man, just beat my head against the keyboard until I got it is really what you got to do.
And so, like he was saying, Matt, at the beginning, you used to have 10 drips just to get in.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of hard for like me. I just gotten out of a rug pull.
Yeah.
I basically had what he had, $200 something to put in.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started going, I think this thing really makes sense. So when was your oh my God light bulb moment? This is going to be maybe bigger than I thought.
When Drip hit that first all-time high of about
$51.
$56, it was in the 50 range. So that day I became a Drip maxi. So my portfolio between the time that I started with Drip and the time that Drip hit its all-time high had barely changed. So what I had done for myself, all the trading, all the bridging, all the applications, all the dApps that I interacted with, almost all of that was for nothing. Drip is where all of my success came from. It's where all of my success started. And when I started treating it as such, I've been able to quit my job. Right? Like, it's mind-blowing that Drip could do this if you just give it the attention, because it is legit and it is very powerful. And taxes suck, but sometimes it has to be there. And that's a big reason that people don't like Drip, or they're turned off by it. Like 10% going in, 10% coming out, 10% on sell. Like, what do I get left? You get 1% compoundable. Like, that's what you get.
So let me ask you a question. Where are you cashing out?
How do you mean? Like
when you claim, where do you claim?
So I'll claim and then go to PooCoin and then sell to BUSD.
Do you know that if you do it on the faucet site, it's cheaper?
Well, if you sell on the faucet, you sure? I know there's no tax on the buys.
Yeah, I made the reason that I know is because I was doing through Pancake Swap. And then somebody who I was teaching, all about drip, they're like, well, can I just sell it there? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And I was like, oh my God, I forgot all about that. I forgot we have an exchange on the site. We can swap it right there. So what'll happen is sometimes when liquidity in the I guess in the reservoir is low, they charge you a real high rate for your BNB, but it's still less than the amount that you would have to put in slippage, right? So check it out. Just check it out one time. You'll see yourself. But I do that now.
Yeah, I usually alternate. I like to go to drip.community.app, Baby Grinch's website.
Yep.
And he has added conveniently the price of both DEXs, Pancake Swap and the in-house DEX. So I like to go there and just compare the price.
Yeah, you can't sell there though.
No, not yet.
Yeah, so that's just a pro tip. Can you tell them about the day that like you were considering quitting, your job, like we were talking about it?
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Is how long ago did you quit your day job?
Oh man, it was a Friday.
It was just a Friday.
It was a Friday. I have to check the date. I haven't really memorized it. It's January. Okay. It was January 14th. That is the day that I quit my job.
Wait, you quit a week before me?
No, I quit like 2 days after you.
Yeah, so then I quit on a Friday, 21st.
No.
Yeah, my last day was the 21st.
There's no way it was that recent.
Yes.
Wow, or maybe we're just that far into February.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
We're on the 18th.
Oh man. It was very soon after Potter had quit. I had been wanting to for months. I had kind of told myself when my income level gets to be this through drip, because you can, chart it out, you can spreadsheet it out, you can predict it. When it gets to be this, and when drip gets to be this price, then I'm going to quit my job. And that price for me was $40. So I'd still be good if drip goes down to $40.
Me too. Yeah.
And, just talking with my fiance, she was never a fan of that idea. She wanted things to happen, such as debts being paid and, a good down payment on a house being saved up. And obviously I did not wait for those things to be ticked off. So she got ticked off. But we're on the other side of it now, because our debts are being paid, and I'm kind of proving to her through actions and through talking, communication and keeping it open, huge benefit, hugely, but just showing her what drip has done and what it continues to do and the income that it is providing. And showing her that it's tangible and paying off our debts, that it is real and that she can find some comfort with it. Because I'm already convinced. Like I have no questions about drip. It's staying power, it's security, it's growth. It's all very bullish for the entire ecosystem. So if you're in it now, congratulations.
Well, two things. One for you is, did you go into drip with like, I know I'm having to sort of lend a bit of trust here in a quote, trustless world? Like, were you skeptical at all getting into it?
I was skeptical of everything.
Okay.
I had no idea what to trust. I was just, everything was bright and shiny at the time to me.
Yeah.
So I really leaned heavily on the input and the advice and the projects that were brought to me by these influencers. I did not go out and do my research. Drip was brought to me. And I guess I brought it to myself by exposing myself to these communities. But still, I did not do my own research. I did not look at the contracts before aping into it.
Okay.
I was just able to develop trust in the protocol because of how it acted versus how I acted.
Okay. That makes sense. And
so it was definitely developed. There's conviction that was over time.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Understood. And like, that's where I am too. Like I'm in, and I'm, it's interesting. Well, it's not interesting. It makes complete sense. The more you study it, the more you look at it, the more comfortable you become with it, you know, and that's where I'm at.
Everybody's journey.
Yeah. Like I'm finding myself, the more I'm just watching content, even if it's like content that I've sort of heard, but I hear it from a different creator, there's something I pick up on differently. And just the more I study, the better I feel about it. So anyway, I don't know if I've asked Potter this question, but I'll ask the both of you because you're both more well-versed than I am. And it's obviously, how long do you think drip can last? What's up?
You froze. We heard the question.
Okay, got it. How long do you think it can last?
I'll give it to our guests.
Okay.
I mean, longer than I'll last, honestly.
Yeah.
You know, as long as nothing happens to the blockchain itself, which, you know, that's out of our hands. So I'm not worried about that.
Yeah.
It can't be changed. It's immutable. You know, it can be tweaked, but there's nothing that can happen to the contract of drip that would say it's going to stop doing what it was designed to do. I have developed that trust. I've not quite read the entire contract. Forex's code is kind of just beyond me.
Yeah.
I
feel the same. It's something that it took me about 2 months to really get it. And at that time, do you remember how hard it was last year to get fiat into crypto? Fiat being, you know, whatever money you have in your bank over to crypto. Was it hard for you too, or was it easy for you?
I had trouble, just constant trouble. Like I was always trying to find efficient ways to do it.
Me too.
And
losing money.
And then like fighting with certain cards not working. Like Visa cards don't like crypto websites. And that's frustration that I had to like find out on my own, you know.
Yeah.
You don't get exposed to that. People don't say don't use Visa cards, right?
Yeah, it's very true. Very true.
Yeah, like it's so funny because I mean we've always talked, and the one thing I don't want us to get out of here without talking about was, you know, this newfound oh my godness that we're in. But it was just so weird being in this space that, you know, somebody else is living a whole different life, but you're going through it. But because of he was able to get more in sooner than I was, so he's like, what'd you say, 3 weeks ahead of me? 3 to 4.
Oh, what do you mean?
Remember when you got to 2000 and something? I was in the thousands.
Oh, well, that's because I'm in a different situation because of Bartertown Ray. So he maxed out his first wallet, and then you have to join under a buddy. And because Stunna joined his second wallet under somebody from his community, Ray did the same thing.
That was the guy who brought me in.
Well, he's definitely doing very well.
Yes, he is.
Because Ray joined under my second wallet. So that second wallet, in the short amount of time that it has been around, has already surpassed my first wallet. That, you know, I've taken personal loans out and put it into that one and just compounded like crazy. And the personal loan thing, you know, that is a very advanced strategy. You know, like interest rate arbitrage is a degen for traditional finance. Like,
Yeah.
Dipping my toes, don't think I'll stay in that pool.
Yeah.
But I lost track of the question.
No, you were talking about how your second wallet grew.
Yeah, so being under Bartertown Ray, that's why I was able to surpass you or outpace you, because I would kind of commingle the wallet divs and kind of grow them both up at the same time. And
Right,
Ooh.
but with regards to that, though, I still feel that, and I don't know if I've ever talked to you about this, but I feel like you're a few weeks ahead of me. Like, you have epiphanies, and then I have the epiphany like several weeks later. I mean, because like you've got wealth that I'm like, I don't understand what you're talking about, and then all of a sudden I'm getting $1,000 a day, and I'm like, oh. And then he gets $2,000 a day, and I'm like, dude, I can't wait. I don't know what that feels like. And I get $2,000 a day. I'm like, oh, you know.
Right? Yeah, I
But
just
that
updated all
feeling
that.
we get that we talked about when, I'm sorry for talking over you, but that feeling of is this real? Is what's happening?
Yeah.
You know, what do we call it?
Oh
There's a
man,
word,
I
some
was gonna call
syndrome.
it. I need a therapist.
Sudden wealth
Sudden wealth syndrome. I
Sudden
really
wealth.
do. That is a real thing. It's like I'm going crazy, just and more than I should, right? Like I'm thinking about, oh my God, should I optimize? Should I like try to establish a company outside of the US so that I have better tax treatment? Like, is that even, how do I start that? You know, like I would just get into this cycle in my mind of overwhelming myself with options.
You think that was because it was based out of fear? You want to optimize, like you want to optimize and diversify to make sure things stay like this. Is that why you say that? Because it was like unbelievable?
Well, it wasn't fear. It
Okay.
was kind of like I've been wanting to set up this part of the infrastructure, like the tax planning and corporations or entities if necessary, just learning that aspect of it instead of just making money. It's also managing it.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
So I wanted to kind of do that, but it got to a point where the snowball just rolled down the hill so fast,
Yeah.
so large that I'm like, I can't keep up. My mind can't keep up.
Yeah.
So I've been considering a therapist to actually help me sort through, these thoughts and kind of take a step back and breathe and stick to the plan or even create a new plan, right?
Yeah.
But that is a thing, when you have so much and coming from nothing,
Yeah.
I used to struggle paying my student loans every day. I used to be excited. Okay, so I used to drive Uber and Lyft for about 2 years. I used to be excited about $100 a day. I'm like, that's all I need to pay my bills and to live.
Yeah.
And now I'm just, I don't know what to do with it all, right? Like it's insane. And it's such a short turnaround for me that I almost wish it didn't happen this fast.
Yeah, there is a part of that. There is a part of that, but the mental health part. Look, I see a head doc. Like I'm not gonna hide that. I tell her, she's like, "Are you sure you don't want to take like 2 weeks?" I'm like, "No." There's so much stuff that happens, and now I don't have the pressures of work weighing me down. But now it's a different pressure. Like, I do want to make this thing work. But we don't have downlines that are giving us rewards like you do. Right?
Yeah, I've kind of grew that a little bit.
Go ahead, say that again.
So I've kind of grew my downlines a little bit, just talking with most of it's family.
Right. So what do you think as far as your second wallet? Did that really push you up to heights that usurped your first wallet?
Oh, let's see. I can check out my team on my second wallet, and the amount of airdrops that I've gotten in referral rewards is half of my original wallet
And airdrops that you've received.
from the downlines.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Like when you have some large wallet, or some large team underneath you, it is, I can't tell if she's frozen, like,
It looks like she is frozen.
or
Yeah.
she's just super excited. But yeah, it makes a big difference if you can actually create a community beneath you
Mm-hmm.
and then give them quality content and
Mm-hmm.
reward them, or just whatever. The airdrop system is one of my favorites.
Interesting.
Oh, she's definitely disconnected.
No, it's all good. So she should be able to hop back in. She can go back into our dashboard and be able to hop in. So actually, let me just shoot her a text real quick. Hold on one second. All right, I'm gonna be on the lookout for that text, and then we'll. So one thing I did want to ask you, not to switch subjects, but how did you and Potter actually meet? Like I know y'all have been in different like Telegram chats and whatnot, but how did y'all actually meet?
We started. Give me a second. She just messaged me on Telegram.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool.
So there was this.
Yeah, there she comes. She's coming back in.
There was a game that came around. It was like a miner game.
Okay.
Miner with an E.
Okay.
Just like an ROI DApp, a return on investment DApp, that you could put money in. The earlier you put it in, the better your results would be. And that spread like fire. There was all kinds of those around. And there was this one copy paste dev. I don't remember his name anymore, but we were both part of those projects. So we were in the Telegrams, and we would kind of go over our returns and be like, oh, did you see how many miners we got for getting in at this time and on this day? And, like we would just kind of nerd out over the stats. And, she actually started getting me into tracking my, my claims, my divs, my initial.
Thanks for saying that. I didn't know that. Thank you. I'm happy.
Seriously, like seeing those results, I can attribute that to you because I did not before. And then I got addicted to it. And then I started doing that for drip. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is so fun. But yeah, that's how we met. We were in the Telegram for one of these devs and basically just started comparing results.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And like I was saying before, I just started noticing like, how similar we were and how I just started I was afraid to believe that I was going to be like him, even though he was just days ahead of me.
What do you mean you're afraid? Let me say this real quick. Typically we would have ended the show by now. I want to keep going with this conversation. So if y'all are good with it.
Yeah, I think it's a good show.
Potter, I'm going to let you, because I could talk to this guy all day long. So Potter, I'm going to let you say, we'll wrap it up. So you just let me know, we'll wrap it up.
Okay.
So what did you mean you were fearful of basically becoming like Humble Ape?
Because like you're afraid to believe that it could possibly be true that you can leave your job, have financial independence, get a paycheck every day. That is more than your weekly paycheck over 2 weeks.
Afraid that it can happen, or afraid that it's going to happen and then it falls apart or it's not real? Like
you're afraid that you're going to get to that door, you're going to turn the doorknob, and it's just going to be, oh, today's the day that crypto all crashed.
Okay, yeah, understood. Okay, yeah, then I totally understand that fear.
Yeah, that one is still a fear of mine. Like just in the back of my head. It's that innate just, I know better than to let this eat at me, but it's there.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, I think all three of us believe that crypto is not going anywhere for sure. But I think that, but it's, crypto's been around for what, 10-ish years. So I think it's a natural instinct if you're a, somewhat normal human being to think it's real new still. It's real new. Drip hasn't even been out a year. So I think that's a natural tendency we will sort of have to wrestle with.
Yeah. And the best solution that I can come up with for myself is to diversify.
I was just
Right.
about, yeah. Yep. Exactly.
And eventually, once I haven't really decided how much I want, like how big my bag is going to be before I go into another asset class. Um, but I know right now I'm building a bag of stables, and
Yep,
that
that's what I'm
stables,
doing, dude. I'm
Okay.
building my stable bag.
Okay.
but this one is with intent to
Yes.
be a house down payment.
Oh, I don't
Okay.
have that. Congratulations.
Congrats,
Thank
man.
you. Thank
Awesome.
you. So
That's
I've
very smart.
decided to farm with this. So it's going to make some money on its own,
Hmm.
and just whatever. So like I said earlier, I've redone my like full income statement through crypto. So I see the amount that I'm making per day,
Sure.
and I'm just going to put $500 of that every day towards this down payment fund.
Okay.
And there are 164 days until August 1st. I think it was like 2 or 3 days ago that I looked at that. So 164, it's going to give me a nice down payment by the time our lease comes up for the apartment.
How
So-
are you managing? I'm sorry, I thought you were done. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. That was it.
How are you managing? Like you said, we both, we had bills. I paid off. My credit score is back over 800, right? Like,
Mhm.
so, like, I have 2 big loans that I want to tackle, and so how are you managing those? Are you really biting them? Or are you kind of like paying those down slowly? Because this is advanced stuff. Nobody talks about this stuff. Everybody talks
Right.
about, oh, you're going to get rich, wind moon, you're going to, oh, I've got 1,000. But nobody talks about, hey, you realized it. How did you manage it?
It's very
So
true.
what I've been doing is, part of all this crypto research that I've done over the past year and a half, 2 years of the pandemic, it's also been a lot of financial stuff, like the Money Guy show, the 5 levels of wealth, just all kinds of stuff, getting a perspective, establishing some kind of basis point for myself to start looking at my own system and making sense of it. So really, I wanted to pay down the oldest debts that I had, the highest interest rates, but it doesn't matter, right?
What do you mean by that?
It doesn't matter anymore. I make so much, I can pay it off at any time.
Mm.
So I want to build as much as I can in my DeFi bag,
Okay.
and still outpace anything that I would do from traditional finance and
Yeah.
accomplish those goals, right? So if you're paying once a month on your payments, I could do 2 or 3 or 4. I could pay once a week. Like, that's still outpacing anything anybody's doing in traditional finance.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not worried about the APR. Like, I'm paying my credit card off every month now. I'm doing what I need to do in the traditional finance world so that I can continue doing what I want to do in the crypto world. And it's still like, I still have this safety net.
Right.
Um,
So here's where we kind of go on a divide, right? Because I've got that one wallet. It's got over 2,000, I think like 2,400 drip,
Mhm.
right? And so that's nice. But you have another wallet that has a downline. Is that the one that is really paying you like crazy?
They're both paying me equivalent at the moment.
Okay.
But if you think about the time that they've been around and the amount of work that I put into my main one, the second wallet it's just now outpaced within the past couple of days. So next month, I imagine it's going to be far surpassing, because the original wallet, it has very little downlines, and those are small fries that their deposit size is just not very big.
Okay. So what's your downline on the other wallet?
I have 9 on my first wallet. One of them is my other wallet. So,
Okay.
I mean, technically I have 4 drip wallets. 2 of them are large. 2 of them are incredibly small.
Okay.
I can tell you my airdrop referral bonuses on my main wallet are a fraction. they don't even matter, honestly. Compared to the other one, like if you have a downline and it's still worth it to build your team. It is another source of basically income to your drip deposit vault. So it's still worth it. And like you kind of do it naturally. You bring out this educational content, you just put your buddy referral address out there, people will sign up under you. They'll get people, they build their own downlines, and it all kind of feeds back into yours. So it's always worth it to put your buddy address out there. But that main wallet is definitely my personal funds versus the second wallet being the big airdrop wallet.
Okay, so how many followers do you have on that second wallet?
It just became a team wallet, so there's 5.
On the second wallet?
Yeah.
I don't understand then how that wallet outpaced your first wallet.
Because of Bartertown Ray, who has just an incredible deposit amount and a few hundred on his downline. And like you see, you get a community leader underneath you, you benefit greatly.
That's what I thought. Now, Matt, you see where I'm going?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
So
like when my turn comes and I maxed out a wallet, I can choose my wallet to put all these deposits in, or I can choose somebody else, like a family member, and bolster their account. So like I said, the airdrop system in Drip is one of my favorites. I tweeted this. It allows me to diversify my life into generosity. Like I can airdrop any person who has a Drip account for any reason. It's not just my team. There's direct airdrops, but it allows me to use what I've earned and share the wealth. And it goes directly into their deposits. They can't mismanage these funds that I give them because it doesn't go to their wallet. But it's still allowing me to be philanthropic, and that's a new feeling for me.
Yeah. So I guess, again, I might be repeating myself. I apologize. It's just, I can't relate with that again, because I have a lot of money coming in that first wallet, and I don't have a second wallet like that. So you definitely, you're in a way like Ray now, because Ray just gets too much money. He's like Stunna, right? He just can't stop getting money,
Yeah.
And so now this is where I guess I'm going to have to help out a different group of people, because most people aren't going to be as lucky as you and the guy who got me. You're not going to get Stunna and Ray on your teams, right?
Oh no, I for sure am counting my blessings. But I've at the same time I've earned it, right? I've been in his community.
You've worked.
I've been a moderator. I've just constantly put work into earning the choice of him choosing me, right? Did she disconnect again? Or?
No, she stepped off camera for a second. You're good.
Okay.
Keep going.
So it's just been a crazy ride, I've had a very unique situation here, just all around.
Well, just a little that I've heard from you, and like the start of that to run through that, that 6-month course, and then, to turn around and realize it's not really what you want to do, how it led to what that's you're 100% right. Well, and tell me this. So now having this, and Potter's mentioned this many times actually, and we've yet to do a show about it, and we will, but the sudden wealth syndrome, now that you sort of have that in your, it hasn't been that long since you quit the day job and you're adjusting, but do you find your brain with more ability to quote unquote dream or think bigger, or like that is more of an opportunity, or,
great question.
Because there is now more wealth and more freedom and more opportunity, do you find yourself with the ability to yeah, okay, I could take that opportunity on, where somebody that's, broke as hell and can't, $100 was a big deal. Like, is that where your brain's at now? What's that like?
It is. Oh, that's a question for my fiance because she hates it. She says that I've been dreaming so big. I'm like, I want to, buy a villa in Turkey and buy the second passport and just have this plan B.
Hmm.
I also am thinking entrepreneurial where we can start, the certain farm. Potter, you're in a legal state. We want to start this weed farm and then start like a bud and breakfast. That's been my brother's dream for years.
Very cool.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, and I agree, and that's been his dream. And I'm like, well, now we can actually work towards achieving that.
Wow.
And I've kind of had to tone down all of my ideas. And like my fiance is getting so overwhelmed with the amount.
Sure.
And we've actually had to be like, whatever I talk about is just, it's not concrete. It won't be concrete until we put it in the notebook. When it's in the notebook, that's when we can, get a time frame going. That's when we can start to seriously plan towards whatever goal goes in this notebook. And that's how she knows that anything that I'm talking to her about is kind of just bouncing ideas off of her. It's not serious yet. But my brain is just mile a minute type of thing. And I've actually settled on an idea that gets me out the house. It gets me kind of up and around and moving and not staring at a computer screen. And I'm learning to fly drones.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
So I intentionally wanted something totally different from crypto because I'm just like at my computer. I just saw a chiropractor yesterday. He's like, you're all kinds of messed up.
Mm-hmm.
So like I needed something polar opposite, but still gives me something that I can enjoy. Drones are a ton of fun. Oh my God, they go so fast. I'm like, I can just get a totally different perspective on my world. And there's business opportunities there should I choose to go that route, right? So it's a hobby that can turn into another source of income
without a doubt
if I really wanted it to.
Yep. Well, so and tell me this, like, how much does your fiance, how much is she into crypto? Like, is she sort of blind?
Zero.
And just hearing and see, understood? And I would like, that's a lot of people's that have spouse, wife, husband, whatever. That's a lot of them. So I know that that's a relatable feeling for a lot of those other halves,
We've actually talked about, she's come to me, she's like, Stephen, I want to sit down one day and learn, like, just kind of go over what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And we like, all right, we'll do that. We planned a day. It was Sunday because she's off Sunday. It was her niece's birthday party that Sunday, 4 years old. So obviously we had to go to the birthday party, and like we didn't get to capitalize on the plan of her learning. And like, just life gets in the way for somebody who is kind of outside of this opportunity zone, right? Like, you just don't have time to learn. And when she gets home from work, she wants to relax. She wants to eat dinner. You don't want to do more after working so hard all day. She's actually a foster coordinator at the Humane Society. So she's working with people all day. She's working with animals all day. Like, she's tired when she gets home. So it's hard to have that interest in what I'm doing.
Well,
but she doesn't have to.
There was one thing that he did do, and a lot of people, when they're going to cross this bridge, and if you're with someone, nobody can understand this stuff if they're not doing it every day. Matt's wife, at least she does. She at least picks up on some of the things that Matt's conveying. So it's not going to be like a shock to her, but even still, at least she's in it.
Yeah.
So what you did was really noble, and he finally just said, look, this is what's going to happen, and I want you to stay with me. Please, let's do this together. And she heard him, but it did help him buying her a new car, or a car, right? So, but at the same time, that is a conversation that a lot of people who are going through this sudden wealth, you have to take into account that people around you. For me, it's my parents, So what I had to do was I started listening to my mama regarding, my bills, because I started paying them down. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna claim until my bills are paid, right? And if that means that I have to rebuild that smaller wallet up, okay. I don't think that's going to happen, right? Because I should be all paid with everything. Even if it goes down, I should be paid with everything by the end of March.
Nice.
Right? And so if our year anniversary, which remember I'm still giving that stupid number, I'll still have crazy amounts of time to both hydrate and collect before May 31st. Right? So I'm going to build it right back, but I'll build it back without having that debt on my shoulder.
Yep. I'm going through it. I just off-ramped a good bit the other day. Coinbase has a daily limit.
How much is it?
10,000.
Okay.
So if I hit the limit, that means I was trying to off-ramp more. So,
I'm not at that point.
And it's all right, but like that's all going towards debt. Like that is specifically our debt that is being cleared because, like it needs to be, but it also gives her that assurance, right? Like this is actually real. This is still happening. This is being taken care of.
Are you saving half? I'm sorry, I thought you were done. It's a delay. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. I think she appreciates seeing that, and we will try to expose her to more crypto. I think just talking about it all the time, she's starting to grasp it just based on secondhand exposure. But yeah, she's coming around more, and yes, the new vehicle definitely helps to get her on my side.
Yeah, paying my mama's bills, that helped make it real. Like not saying that she was saying, oh, I'm going to be greedy about it, but excuse me, until people hear that or see it, they don't get it.
Oh yeah.
And it's inspired her to do things with her money. So
yeah, there's definitely some concrete piece to that, and I've talked to my wife about it, and I've all like me learning drip, and like I'm doing pretty well with drip right now. Like I haven't claimed anything. I'm sort of on the hydrate train still.
Good.
I've tried to explain to her. I've had to stifle my excitement about it, if I'm being honest with you. I've had to stifle my excitement and like what I'm seeing, because I had those same feelings of like, is this really real? And I've almost every time I start talking about drip to her, I'm like, however, it's like a preface. However, until it pays a bill, until it's, back in fiat, it's not real. I guess I say that intentionally. That way she doesn't feel that I'm like out of my mind somewhere down in a computer rabbit hole. Hearing y'all say
what you can do is just hydrate until what you claim in one day can pay your car or can, pick a bill, right? And Matt, start making it real.
Yeah, Matt, what is your strategy? I mean, we're talking about it, but there's a part of the drip community that's like you too.
Yeah. So I was fortunate. I got in around like $28, and but right now, like I want to hydrate until I get to the point where basically I would only have to claim 4 days in a month to cover all of my bills. To me, that would be enough hang time. If whatever the volatility of the price would be, even if it dropped a crazy amount or whatever, you look at that and that seems like a lot of breathing room. So that's sort of when I can claim basically 1 day being 1/4 of what I would need in a month and be able to do that 4 times a month. That would be like, okay, that's a big turning point for me.
Yeah, I think my strategy is a little more aggressive.
What do you mean?
So my basic understanding, basic premise, at the very lowest block, compound more than you claim. Right? That's just understanding. That way you never run out.
Sure.
So I kind of run with that, and I've always been it's fun. It's almost like a game to develop these strategies, right? So one of my favorite strategies that I put for myself was treating Drip as an employee, and every week I accumulate and claim 40 hours. So that's just a fun way to think about it, and that is a more aggressive claim schedule. Now, it's only like 10% more because your 4 out of 30 is 13%. So you're claiming 13% on that. My 40 out of 168 is 23%. So it's just a hair more aggressive than, once a week or but it works for me, right? It's a plan, it's a strategy, and it makes sense to me.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and we actually got somebody in the chat here. Looks like Era's in the chat. What's up, man? I appreciate you sliding by. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, he already came in, and we didn't say hi quick enough. I think he had.
Oh no.
No, it looks like 9:55. It's 9:56 now. He's still here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and so you're correct on that. Like, I think there's such a balance of financially what it makes sense for your picture, where you're at in your life, and how much debt do you have. It's so different and individualistic, and then also the trust aspect. Like I mean, it sounds like, honestly, like Potter, Humble Ape, I think you both trust this more than I do. I have much more trust than when I started, for sure. But there's, like I think I'm still learning that trust aspect, and I think the income is obviously much, much different.
Oh yeah, but even disregarding the income, like we said, or like you said earlier this morning, the AMAs, right? Just listening to all the AMAs, you get a different tidbit from each one.
True.
Forex always gives you some kind of different perspective on what he's talking about. So the more you listen to the AMAs, the more you develop that conviction, at least for me.
Correct.
Right? So I just consumed 3-hour AMAs. I would put them on 1.25 or 1.5 speed. 1.5 is kind of pushing the limit for me, but 1.25 is a life changer, right? You can consume so much more content, but you lose nothing. You don't lose any ability to understand at a little more speed. So that is little pro tip, life pro tip there.
That
Smart
is a
man.
good pro tip.
Smart man.
But
well, go ahead. I cut you off. Go ahead.
No, you're good. I mean, I always have a little more to say. It's not really important. I can just keep talking, but those AMAs are just fantastic sources of direct trust.
You're correct. Anybody that's in chat or watching this in playback, AMA, ask me anything. It took me a minute to even realize what the hell that was, but you're right. I've been doing the same thing, dude. AMAs. Potter and I were talking about this. We've watched AMAs more than once from him, and again, I'm open-minded, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't looking for inconsistencies. Wasn't looking for holes, and does he say something a little bit AMA compared to the other? Which he's a smart guy. Like, it makes total sense what you're saying. You're going to pick up different tidbits in each one. You're right.
Yeah, I've watched some of his Animal Farms AMAs, 3 hours. I've listened to them 3 times.
Wow.
That's because this is my job, And so I tell people this in my private life. The best, the Michael Jordans, the Tom Brady's, the Wayne Gretzky's, they practiced the hardest. That's why they were the best. And we have this very unique opportunity that is happening right now for us to be able to do it. And so I am a programmer and I love my job. So, but I really think that linked you in, and I was so average, it wasn't even fun. But I thought that, the way that you were able to still use that knowledge to bring yourself in, like that was really smart. But even with all that knowledge with the course, it was still timing. Like that we got in a sweet spot. If you got in the spring of 2021, you had a good year. If you got in the fall of 2021, you still have not had a good year.
Yeah, I mean,
Era in the chat just said, I heard the prize for this was 1 Bitcoin, JK.
Maybe we could do 1 drip, but
Yeah.
Look, when the CPI comes out, Bitcoin's going to go back down. We'll talk about it.
There's nothing that can convince me that the market's going to change before March. Right. So what you got is what you got, but it helps to have an asset. So this week, my TVL went down by thousands, maybe tens of thousands, right? But my average daily passive went up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. That's the way that the work that Humble and I were doing last year was to set that up. Mm-hmm. Because we, the first time we went through downfalls, just like everybody else, we're like, oh no. Right. Yep. But then over 2021, we went through so many of those that we started to develop a thicker skin to them.
Mm-hmm. I would imagine.
Like, so when drip dropped to like, what was it, 12 or 15?
I think it went down to 7.
Okay. I definitely didn't get there for that half a second moment.
Oh, wait, when are you talking? When?
No, I'm talking about the after it went up to 51 and it slowly came down the wall like molasses.
Oh, that went down to 2.
No, it didn't go back. No. That was the first one that went back down. I'm talking about the one that we were in before it like mooned. It went to 51 and then it slipped back down, but it was like 15 or 12. That's how low it went. And so when I saw it go back to 12, I was like, there's just no way that I'm not going to pull out money to buy drip. That's just not going to happen. So I brought in fiat, to say, okay, last stand. And that's when it just said, I think everybody woke up and said, okay, let me put some money in this. And we started seeing the normal people starting to contribute again, or the long time drip people. And so we had started to set up an ecosystem. We were kind of living off each other. And then we got famous.
Yep.
And it just, we've always known that the early drippers, we've always known how big this is going to get. We just didn't expect to see it last year. Right.
Well, it's hard to imagine when you have 80% of the liquidity locked. What could happen, right? Yeah. There's a very small catalyst, like a marginally small purchase or a high volume day, and drip can like double in price. Not anymore, because our liquidity is so deep in BUSD that it would take a lot to move the price more. But still, that's what we were experiencing. Like these rapid onsets of growth. The bee farm that came out, that was a huge pump to the price.
Yeah.
And then it dumped, and like we were just searching for these partnerships. Like we could not find a good partnership. Forex would talk and tease, and then it would just fall through. Like there was a drip winter for a while, but I'd never really paid attention to it. It was in the background for me. When it was drip winter, I was not paying attention to it. So I could be much better off, but que sera, sera.
When you say you weren't paying attention to it, you mean because you were hydrating, or because you just stepped away for a sec?
No, I was hydrating.
Yeah,
it was just
that's
in the
why
background.
I didn't pay attention. Yeah.
It was in the background. I would hydrate once a day, every other day, or I would claim to get BNB for gas money. Like I would use drip, not in the way that I'm using it now, but I would mostly hydrate and just use it for BNB for gas. Like that was it, because it wasn't paying much.
So how they tell us, like when you go in the first time, how many days is it? Like 60 or 70 days to get your ROI back, right?
Technically it would be 110.
110.
If you just claimed, if you did not hydrate.
And that gives you that many days to say, okay, now I'm going to hydrate, or, now I'm going to hydrate. That gives you 200 something days, right? During all of 2020, I didn't claim 60 days. There's no way I claimed 60 days or 100 days. So what I feel I'm doing right now is I'm doing that now.
It's delayed gratification.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
very delayed.
And I need to be okay with that. But one of the things that's hard, and this is for people who are in it, once you hydrate as much as I have every day for that many months, it's hard to stop.
It is. It
I would
really
imagine.
is.
I would imagine.
That's why a second wallet could be good for you. You know, you can designate, okay, this wallet, I'm just going to 100% hydrate. This wallet, I'm going to go 50-50 and just use
Hmm.
it to establish a new position, you know? Like you can, it's kind of like creating new bank accounts or
Yeah.
adding, somebody had this comparison. It's like a chest of drawers, right? You have drawers for your underwear, for your socks, for your shirts. You don't have it all mixed in one.
Right.
So you can kind of create a new wallet to be a new drawer, to be a new anything you want, right?
Mhm. I would be interested to see. Have you started your third wallet?
Like I said, I've got 4
Okay,
drip
you have.
wallets.
So your third wallet, it doesn't have a lot of downline, right?
It has 0. Like
Yeah. What
my
did you?
third wallet is.
Did you start from like real low, or did you give a decent deposit?
I think I did the minimum on the third wallet because that one is actually on Ray's Team 2 downline.
Okay.
Um,
I probably should make a Ray wallet.
I mean, if you're gonna watch his videos and
I do.
participate, and we'll watch them live and be like, trying to get the airdrops, then a new wallet under his wallet would be beneficial.
I'm going to ask him. I'm going to try to get him into one of these interviews because nobody's ever interviewed him. You think he'll do it?
I mean, I can actually talk to him. Like I said, I'm a moderator.
Yes,
and,
please. We'd love to have him on
That'd be
because
incredible.
one of the things about it is for me specifically, this is a God kind of thing. It's spiritual for me.
Mhm.
And Ray always talks about God, right?
He doesn't like to broadcast it. I know he's spiritual in some kind of way. He doesn't broadcast it.
Yeah, he does.
Much.
He does. I've watched his videos. I've like gone through, and that's how I found out because he talks about it quite a bit. He just doesn't go, "Hey, come to church tomorrow. Hey, are you reading the Bible?"
Oh,
right?
it's very low key.
Yeah, he talks about it for himself, right? But it's still the story he gives about his path is the one I think a lot of people will get a lot from. So I'd love to.
Oh, I can't believe his path. He used to work the streets. He used to be a little dope boy. Like, I can't believe it. And now he's like, I love to hear like Baby Ray's getting organic applesauce. Like, that is hilarious to me. Like just upgrading your life, just up, you're leveling up. We're all leveling up because of drip.
And I think that is a great place to, call it.
Very nice. Very nice.
I agree.
Well, Ape, man, I'm super honored that you hopped on here with us. You were our first guest, and this was a lot of friggin' fun. You said you watched an episode or two, which I appreciate. And as you can see, we typically only go like 20, 25 minutes, but I enjoyed the hell out of talking to you. I really, really appreciate the insight, the wisdom. And I know for people watching this in playback, because for myself, you give such perspective of what drip can do. What a unique story, and then also that sudden wealth syndrome. Like you had so many gems in here, and I really appreciate you taking the time.
Oh, not a problem, man. I enjoyed being here. Potter, thank you so much for inviting me. It was a blast. We'll definitely do this again sometime.
Hey.
For sure.
Maybe not an hour. I need some water. Next time I'll feel a little better.
I've had to pee for like 30 minutes. So
okay, all right. So definitely need to end this because we don't want a wet set. Boom.
Well,
awesome.
Thank you so much.
Heck yeah. Potter, you got anything? Potter, you got anything in closing?
Nope.
All right. Well, great job, guys.
Have a great day.
Really enjoyed it. Builders. There's the button. Oh man, that was a lot of fun.
Hey.